Yeah, just a deep corner to the back post, and the guys caught the volley. From my point of view, it was just a reaction save. Kind of thought it was a decent save, and then it just lands straight to Chicho, and yeah, obviously he finished it, and it's heartbreaking for us.
Especially after you answer both their goals, but Dejan comes in and a minute later, and a beautiful goal to tie it up. The roller coaster of emotion on that.
Yeah, I thought the second half in general was quite scrappy. Kind of was on a knife edge, could go either way. And then when they got the second goal, when you only had 7 or 8 minutes to find a goal, Decky found that for us, and then it kind of turns into end to end again. We had some corners, and they had some corners, and then it was obviously just that one play that killed us.
Hey Jonathan, can you talk a little bit about that last play with Sego Koulibaly that led to the corner kick? Were you able to speak to him? I know it was very loud out there. And what were your thoughts on how you guys defended? Because it was a game of inches. You guys could have probably won this game. It led to that final corner.
Yeah, I think we're all very upset with. Once you concede a goal, you start replaying everything back in your mind, and could you have done something differently? I think Sega was trying to shield it out of play, and then, to be honest, he was playing through a lot of cramp, and I thought he had a brilliant game. But then, if there's any doubt, which the player kind of seemed like he might be able to keep it in, then kick it out, and that's what he did, and then we'll defend the corner. But obviously, when then you don't defend the corner after that, it suddenly makes everything before that. Could you have done this? Could you have done that? But honestly, giving away a corner in that situation is not a disaster.
Where do you feel the Galaxy end their 22 season in terms of big picture, what you guys have been trying to get back to? I know you came in the early days of Greg's tenure, and you're a piece of that. So how do you feel things are left off going into an off season?
The answer to that question is why it's so disappointing to be out today, because we've been in such good form, such good momentum. Honestly, we've probably been one of the best teams over the past 12 or 13 games. We struggled for consistency in the early part of the season, a little bit like last season, but we found a formula, and we kind of felt like we were probably the best, if not one of the best teams in MLS in the playoffs. So sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce for you, and we didn't get a little bit of luck we needed today. But I think if we carry on this with this formula and this way of playing next season, then we should have a strong season.
Jonathan, what's the goal for next season?
I think we can confidently say that the goal is to win the MLS Cup. We've first season we missed out in the last minute of the last game. Second season we reached the conference semi-finals, put together a great run, found something that works for us, and I think next season is going to be all guns blazing from us. We know how we're going to play, what we're about, and hopefully we can go further next year.
Anything else?
Thanks for your time, Bundy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bundy.
Thanks.
Hey Chicho, can you talk to us about how you felt about this game, the emotion? You guys were right there.
Man, it's going to be very difficult to tell you different words than pain, disappointment. And yeah, you're not going to hear something different. I'm sorry, but that's the only feeling that I have, and we have, that we could have maintained probably the 2-2, going in the end. And plays matter, So disappointment. We need to leave this pain. We need to transform it in something positive for next season, of course.
You guys grew a lot in this season, especially this second half.
Yeah.
How do you take how you guys grew this season to next season? Obviously, I know it's painful.
I appreciate it a lot, because the positive thing is comparing last season that we didn't go to the playoffs, and then we came to the semi-final of the conference, against the best team of the league these days. So we grew a lot, but for this organization is not enough. The standards are as high as you can, winning trophies, playing finals at least. So we are very disappointed.
What were you telling the guys in the locker room after something like this? And with your experience, is there something that you've been telling them?
I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them because it's an amazing group of guys. And you can ask even Michael Jordan, after their losses, that he couldn't make it to the finals, how painful it was watching Derek Jeter. You can see he won 5 championships, and then in the losses, he still remember the losses. So yeah, if we are mature, if we are conscious, we can create something big from here. Obviously, right now there are no words to describe the pain, of losing against your neighbors, the rivalry, the last minute, in the way that we came back twice from the score sheet, and then, yeah, losing at the last minute. So, yeah, like I answered the other questions, since tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, we're gonna start taking out the positives as well and be very critic with ourselves, of every season individually and as well groupally.
It may be too early, but how do you assess the season? How you guys started and how you guys finished it?
Like you said, it's too early. Right now we're just having this pain and we just have the result in our hearts and in our minds.
Javier, fue un buen partido, ¿no?
Thanks.
Pero
You got some.
Greg, just your general thoughts first.
Yeah, I thought the first half we had a lot of the game, especially early on. I think, as I said to the guys on the bench, we needed to punish them in the early stages when they didn't have a chance. They got a goal kind of against the run of things. The first time we got a little bit passive defensively, they were able to get a goal. We got ourselves back into it, and it kind of went back and forth like that for a while. I'm really proud of our guys. It's been a hell of a stretch of games that the guys have put together over the last 12, 13 games, and we battled till the very end. And the game came down to a couple plays here or there, the most important thing now is I'm proud of this group. We've come a long way since a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I think this group has proven that they're capable of winning things. Tonight didn't go our way, but we certainly had our moments where we were in control of the match for good stretches.
The emotional roller coaster. You bring in Dejan and great goal a minute in, and then stoppage time killer.
Yeah, that's what makes these games so strange, because you kind of throw a Hail Mary sometimes a little bit in your shape or in your positions or the roles, the people you bring on to try to track and chase a goal. You get it, but then it leaves you a little bit maybe vulnerable on the defensive side. So we were trying to get ourselves reorganized on the defensive side. We were pretty close to there. We give up a corner kick at the end, and we just don't defend it well. So, but I think we started to settle ourselves back in, and then the corner kick was certainly the difference at that point.
We get a couple of chances there, especially on the corner kick. You guys couldn't clear the ball. You see what the breakdown was on that second goal and also on the third goal?
Did I see what the breakdown was on the
second and third goal?
Well, the third goal was the corner kick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the cross to the back post. They went deep to the back post, and the guy headed it back across, and we, between the challenge at the back post and the guys who were in front of it, we lose our marks. We lose the guys that we need to deal with in front of the goal, and they had one back across and put it away. The second one, quite honestly, I don't even remember it right this second to be able to give you an assessment of it. But I know they were able to get across the field on us, and then I don't quite remember what happened after that. I went immediately into mode of how do we get a goal back, so I didn't think about it too much.
How did you see your team tonight respond to the emotions of an Trafico? And just where do you feel this, let's call it project, is? I know there's going to be a lot of stuff to decompress in the days ahead, but kind of where do you feel this season ends off on a certain note?
Yeah, I'm proud of the growth that the group made. I think they, especially here in the playoffs, we played 2 big games where there's a lot on the line. We played a number of games down the stretch of the season where we felt like every game mattered. That's something this group needed to go through, is to play in these types of important matches. I've seen the group kind of grow together as men. And the qualities of the group came out. I really felt like through large stretches of this game, they didn't have any great answers for us, and defense and attacking-wise, they didn't have any great solutions. So I was pleased with our play. I thought in the second half they increased their pressure a little bit, and we just weren't moving for each other at the same rate as we were in the first half. But so for us, it's just continued growth. But we have a lot of really good pieces. We've got a group that is now connected like they've never been connected before in that locker room, and trusting each other and working for each other. So we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to look forward to as we continue to build forward. So that's what I'm most pleased about right
Greg, can you speak, I know it's not the result you wanted, could you speak on the substitutions? You brought Victor Vasquez and Kevin Cabral. Can you tell us why you brought him in a little sooner than we usually see you bring in subs?
Yeah, like I said, the start of the second half, there was a stretch where I felt like they increased the intensity at which they were pressing us. I felt like our solutions to break the press weren't coming as fast as they needed to come, so then we were having to hit these balls longer, and they were eating up the balls, and so they were keeping us in our half. So for me, there's two solutions. One is to bring on somebody who can maybe stretch out the back line a little bit more. That was Kevin, to see if we could get him running behind and at least open up some space to be able to play. That was only marginally successful, I would say. So then the next part was actually just to change our shape and overload the midfield. So we went to something that we've used in the season, more like a diamond, and used Victor to overload, which we ended up getting him into some really good spots, which led to our second goal, as Victor picked it up between the lines and found Dejan in a position to finish. So it was just trying to get the game back a little bit more in our vision, because I felt like we weren't successfully building out and getting a hold of the ball. It became a little bit more of a transition game, or a game where we were being pressed. So we tried to reorganize so we could get a hold of the ball, create some different reference points for them. So it worked at times, but it obviously it cost us a goal. Maybe.
What message might you have to the fans, especially the ones that were up in that corner? They've been hard at times on this club this year, holding it to a high standard, and they've been supporting through good and bad. What would you say to the Galaxy fans?
Yeah, look, the Galaxy fans have been through the best of days in the years and the worst of days over the years, and they've always stuck to the club, and I think the standard that they hold the club to should be the same standard and higher that we hold ourselves to and that we hold the club to. But even though they've been hard on the club, they're always behind the club, and for that we always appreciate them. They also expect all of us to come out and perform our duties and all that stuff. So sometimes it can be harsh, because it can be a work in progress, but sometimes it's what's needed to keep pushing us forward. And so I'm really pleased. I'm happy for the support that we had tonight. I'm sad that we didn't give them something exciting to go home to, for sure. But hopefully, when they decompress, they will be proud of this group and the direction that it's going, and the type of soccer we're playing, and what the potential can be as we move into another season.
Greg, maybe a little too soon, but looking back as you reflect, how do you summarize the season for the Galaxy?
I think ultimately I think it was a big step forward. I don't want to get into the long part of it, but we've been trying to rebuild the team over the last couple of years. I think we've taken big steps forward over the last couple of years to rebuild this group. I think we're creating a vision now of how we want to play. I think it's exciting. It's attacking soccer. We want to have the ball, and we want to get a group that's connected and believes that they can win championships and they can get the club back on top. And so I think we took a big step forward. I think things came together a little bit in the transfer window with this last one, which was a really good one. We had some really important pieces, and so I'm pleased. Again, it's a big step forward, even though it doesn't feel like it tonight, because it didn't feel. It's not the result we wanted or our fans wanted or anything else, but when you take a little step back for a second, then it's been a positive second half of the season for sure, and a positive step forward.
Greg, what do you think about Raheem and Julian against their matchups tonight?
I thought they were excellent. They had a big ask, because both of those wingers are very good players, but we're also trying to get those guys joining into attacks, and so it was a lot of work for them tonight, but I thought they did a great job. So yeah, I couldn't ask for much more. They competed for 90 minutes.
Greg, when you arrived in Los Angeles, you talked about building a culture here. Do you feel like that you've accomplished that?
Yeah, we've certainly taken huge steps forward. There's a lot of things that we've been able to build over the last few years. Some of them the fans and the media and everybody else can see, and some of them you can't see because they're infrastructural things. They're things that are happening behind the scenes that are in the club. There's all kinds of stuff that's being rebuilt and or built for inside of the club. So there's a lot of positive things. On the field, you see a good team, a really good team that, again, is exciting. And tonight we fell a little bit short, but it's moving in the right direction. And as far as culture comes from games like tonight and opportunities where you have to play big games together, where you compete together, you fight for each other. We've had great results down the stretch, which has really helped this team come together. So are we there? We'll be there when we lift a trophy, but we're certainly really close.
Greg, what's the goal for next year?
MLS Cup. And I'd like for us to be in the contention, if not winning the Supporter Shield. I think that's the sign of a consistent team. I think our challenge over the last couple of years was getting this group to be more consistent, which is really what we saw down the stretch from our group. But I'd like for us to be competitive and contending and possibly winning Supporter Shield and every other trophy that's in our way. So, but I think another step forward for us is us competing for MLS Cup next year.
Thanks for your time, Greg.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.